Liam Neeson, pretty, at least on camera, a pretty serious guy doing some pretty crazy things. How do you approach pitching him some of the wilder stuff from Naked Gun?
I mean, they were in the script, and so he would read a script. He'd read a draft of the script, and he would just say what he liked or didn't like. And if he didn't like something, he would just say, "I think this is shit." And you know, and we'd basically, he very rarely played that card. So
Yeah.
he was so game. He was so excited to do all of it. But like there's this bit in the movie where he's talking about how much he loves Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and we just and that was an alt. That wasn't the thing that was in the original script. So we just were running to him on set, like in the moment, and I don't think has literally ever seen Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and so like the whole run of it is just these complete gibberish words to him, and he reasonably is like, what the fuck are you even asking me to say? I don't even know what these words mean. And so like he had some trepidation, but then he does it because he's an amazing actor, and he is a professional, and he says
Yeah.
it, and then the crew starts laughing, and he's like, okay, all right, I guess this works. And
That's great.
and so it definitely takes some nerves of steel to go pitch a dumb idea to Liam Neeson, and
Right.
that's the whole business of Naked Gun, is pitching dumb ideas.
And I will say that we had the advantage of having Akiva Schaffer, who was the director and we co-wrote with, who is, he's the first line, and Liam trusted him first and foremost, and then I think as a result began to trust us, the idiot writers coming in with different jokes for him, but because it starts with Liam trusting Akiva, and if Akiva gives something the green light, that means something to Liam. And it also starts with the fact that Liam understood the assignment too. He really was like, I know what he did. He understands Naked Gun, what made Leslie Nielsen so great, why he's so perfect to do his version of it. He got all those things, and
Yeah.
and when we were writing, we were often doing his a terrible version of his voice, and it became an exercise of like what are the stupidest things we can get Liam Neeson to say.
Would you treat us with a version of the line from Liam Neeson?
Man, where are my Buffy the Vampire Slayer episodes? I mean, it was just like,
Yeah, that was it. Yeah, just like you lost all the episodes. The episode where Willow meets her doppelganger and Buffy and Angel hook up for the first time.
Yeah, it's the intensity of Taken, about something completely absurd, and you get that because of his gravitas, and he's just so damn good. He could read the phone book, and you're like, this is so gripping.
Pam Anderson did an incredible job. Were you guys imagining her in that part as you were writing it? How did that all come about?
We were imagining this sort of Zucker Brothers spoof female lead type, which is a very particular thing when you think of like Julie Haggerty and Anna Faris and Priscilla Presley, as like this lineage of these really sweet, doe-eyed, like beautiful women who are not like stupid. That's the important thing, is they're innocent. But if they're too stupid, then they can't say the stupid thing. It's a subtle distinction, but they have to be like innocent without being stupid. And 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 Pam is on a very short list of actresses who, in like just our modern world, are like just nail that. And so she was always someone we were really
She
interested
was
in.
one of the
And
first names we came up with, and the fact that she was interested, we were immediately like, oh yes, go get her. Again, someone who just totally understood the assignment, wanted to play in the sandbox, and just got it. And
Yeah.
like in her first interview with Akiva, did scatted as she was in the movie, because she scatted in high school. She was in like her high school like scat club, or like jazz scat, like, but she had done it before. And just the fact that she was willing to kind of make herself that vulnerable on a Zoom,
Yeah.
and do something as ridiculous as scatting cold, is
Nothing
says
worse
so
than just
much
cold
about her.
scat.
Yeah, exactly. I've never said scat this many times in a series of times, and I can't wait for this to be clipped and repurposed
Great, please.
somewhere else. But
Just a super cut of the word scat.
she was just the best. We got so lucky with those two, and just their willingness and talent. The combination of their willingness and their talent, and just was you don't get that. There's
Yeah.
And then their immediate chemistry is
Mm.
something that you just get lucky with. You cannot
Yeah.
predict that, and
Yeah.
very grateful for it.
It was fantastic. Can we geek out on process a little bit? Your chemistry. I'm curious. Like when you're writing together, set the scene. What's that like? Are you in the same room together?
I'm in a bathtub. Doug's, watching me through the window.
Sade so desperately in the background. I've got my camouflage on, and the toilet cam is on. Everything is on, really, and I'm just kind of taking it all in and then editing it, and and then no, look, well, we have a process. If we're just writing Naked Gun was different. Naked Gun was more like we wrote like we were in a TV writer's room. It was me and Dan and Akiva, and we even hired a writer's assistant, which is not common for a movie. And every day we showed up to work, and we basically clocked in and we outlined the movie, and then went off and wrote scenes, and then came back. That's not how we usually write movies. But that was a far more that was a different experience, and it was wonderful.
And
But
what's your typical way you do it?
typically, we will, if we're TV and movie, we will outline, hopefully together in the same room. We will, like what's called breaking a story, and which is basically outlining it, brainstorming what the beginning, middle, and end is, and then writing out like slug lines for each scene, in each act, and kind of trying to get a rough idea of what each scene is, and what's happening plot wise. We try not to get bogged down in what the jokes are in the beginning, and then we'll usually go off and write what we call a vomit draft, and we may just, that might be one person taking the first act and the other person taking the second and third, or vice versa, and that's just writing everything out basically as not precious at all. And it could be as, if you don't have ideas for actual lines of dialogue, you can just write, this in this scene I feel this way, and I'm feeling hurt because my dad didn't play catch with me, like anything. And you're basically just getting out a vomit skeleton of it, and then from there we're going off and writing, whether it's scene by scene or act by act, sending it to one another, honing it, and then we like to come together after we feel like it's gone through a couple times through that, and we like to turn the key together at the end, which is punching it. We'll put it up on wherever we are, maybe on the big screen, and we'll just kind of go through it line by line.
What about when you really like something and Dan really doesn't? How do you? Does that ever happen?
Oh yeah, all the time. Yeah, this is a long-term marriage we're in, and we fight like a couple sometimes, and that's uh, creativity does not necessarily happen in agreement. Like the friction is part of the process. Sometimes, I think we try to listen to each other as much as possible. I think that's the biggest thing, which is like, even if we have disagreeing points of view on a scene or a moment or a joke or whatever, the goal is to talk about you think why you think you're right. You need to be able to argue the actual logic behind it. It can't just be, I want it this way. And so And in having that, and honestly, what happens a lot of the time when we have these arguments is by having to articulate the reason that I think this thing is better this way, and he says I think it's better this way, we actually realize we're both kind of missing some element that would make us both happy, and we usually often come to a third new thing, and that again is why the friction is important. Sometimes it's purely subjective, sometimes it's just taste, and it's just like, I want a Fruit Loops joke here. I just want a fucking Fruit Loops joke. and Doug's like, I hate Fruit Loops. And then there's just a little internal gauge of like, Dan seems like pretty obsessed with these fucking Fruit Loops. I'm gonna give it to him. This is not worth the fight, and that's just like couples EQ, right? Where you're right. Yeah, I'm gonna let him have this one.
Do you want to be right or do you want to be happy?
Yeah.
Right.
It's a marriage. I agree with everything Dan's saying. It's a push and pull. It's compromise, and I'll say even still at the end of the day, I still want to make Dan laugh. Like I do, it means a lot to me when he laughs at something. So aside from breaking a story and making sure the plot makes sense and the machinations of how a story can be told, if it's about a joke, if it's the Fruit Loops joke or whatever, and he's not laughing at it, a lot of times I'll be like, well, that's the answer. Even though sometimes I'll be like, no, I think this is funny. And we both have a list of probably times when we were proved right or we were proved wrong. That people ended up liking the joke that we didn't believe in or didn't like it. And it's just, it all kind of comes out in the wash.
I did want to ask you about that. Do you have any memories of any epic, like thinking you're walking into the room and you're going to blow the lights out and just crickets? Any good bombing stories?
So many.
Oh God.
I mean, one with someone who's too powerful to name now.
With many powerful and a
many powerful, but truly
the most powerful most powerful Zoom we'd ever been on, and we ate so much shit.
I'm haunted
in such a spectacular way that when you asked about like, can you tell when it's not going well? We were up here singing and dancing, and from probably
literally we worked musical numbers into the pitch.
We had fake backgrounds in our Zoom. They hated it from the minute it started, and we're like, oh God, we still have
40 more minutes to go.
Yeah. And then they really proceeded to not be generous at all, and
they did rip us new assholes. Yeah,
it was. So we can't really say much other than it was very, very big people.
Got it.
Household names.
Performing for audiences is wonderful training because you will eat shit when you do enough shows live.
Right.
So you get okay with it mostly.
We're fine. We survived, and we still work in the business, and it's fine.
But as you were thinking about it, your eyebrows started twitching a little bit.
My chest is so tight right now.